Good
Let's
afternoon,
hit it.
everyone, and welcome to officially episode 25. And we got a lot on the docket today,
Great day of
and
football yesterday. Bye,
some
Packers.
mixed feelings with
Mixed
some of the
feelings,
sports
really.
in New York. No,
Oh,
the
in New
football is
York,
great.
yes.
That's exactly what I wanted to happen. Titans aren't the real deal. Sorry, Titans fans.
Well,
Go watch
Titans
the
now,
Predators.
they're going to blame their quarterback, just like everyone does when you don't have an elite quarterback. They're going to crush him all thing. Derrick Henry's going to be a hero for coming in and playing, but wow, those games. Joe Burrow's the guy who's the man. He got destroyed in that game physically, stood in there and
Oh,
still won. I'm happy. I'm 2 for 2 on picking the playoffs so far, or this round. Today, I'm going Rams. Who you like in that game?
I'm cheering for the Rams. I don't know if they're gonna win, and because I've heard from people it's a dangerous game going against Brady, and I hate him.
Oh,
And
of course it
it's
is. But I
because
don't like going up. You like my cup today from the Chicago
yeah,
Bears
no.
game?
What's is it glass?
Nah, it's plastic football. A little bear there.
Oh, nice. That's what the Packers won or lost. That was
Yeah. Oh,
I can't even
whatever the
imagine
mojo
that
is, it
feeling of
was
the
those games yesterday were so entertaining. They were so much fun. Like if you were, I was rooting for the Bengals in the first game, and they
yeah.
come out, and you're like, oh, they look great, and then it's all falling apart, looking like the doom and gloom, and then they end up getting that turnover. Unbelievable game. Packers, oh god, they had that game. Get block punt in the end zone. Block punt in the
That
end
it's
zone in the
just
playoffs.
I can't even
So
imagine how that feels. Like because like for athletes, this is what you do. Like I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but just sitting like looking at him and like thinking what's going through his mind because all the prep you put in
no, what's
for
probably going through his mind?
seasons.
Eli's won more Super Bowls than me.
It's true.
Yeah.
I hate when people hate on Eli, but for just even like guys like Devonte Adams too, like they had such a great year and all the prep, and now it's so much you got to do it all over again.
Well,
Like that
they
must feel terrible for
I agree
athletes.
that, but what feels crazier for them is because the Packers restructured Aaron Rodgers' contract where he could pretty much walk away and he could retire, he could go to another team, he could do whatever he wants. Devontae Adams is a free agent. Do you think Devontae Adams is going to want to stay in Green Bay, Wisconsin without an MVP quarterback, with someone who may never get him the ball? No way.
No.
He could go be a free agent and jump ship and go play with his best friend,
Oh my god,
David Carr. And
that'd be
that yeah,
amazing if he was a giant.
you heard
We
Aaron
don't have the money.
Rodgers say it in the post game conference. He does. Excuse me. He doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild. You lose your MVP quarterback. You lose arguably the top two wide receiver in NFL. If not the best receiver in the NFL. That offense is going south fast. They got some running
Well,
back.
you got like Aaron Jones. I think is gonna want out because they're
Well,
giving
he just.
almost giving him
I'm
away to
pretty sure he
Philly.
just signed a deal. So he's.
I think he's underrated, Aaron Jones. I think
He seems to not get the
that's
ball
a
enough.
guy I would like the Giants to have, but like again, we don't have money just to be like
He
hand them
reminds
out.
me of a Tiki Barber type player. Really fleet of foot. Except he does.
Were you a fan of Tiki Barber?
I'm much more a fan of him now. I did like Tiki Barber, but in the beginning of his career, when he was fumbling all the time, it was maddening. I didn't like that there always seemed to be an internal beef with Tiki Barber and the other players. Like, I don't know if it's offense, defense, but even Michael Strahan seemed pretty cordial now, and is pretty good on the radio. Um,
I thought it was funny when he like retired and then the Giants won the Super Bowl 1 year after that,
oh,
and you see
those
him
are
on
the
the sideline like. Just,
But that's
I
the
thought
thing,
that was
like
pretty
the
funny.
Mattingly when the Yankees go on a run after he can't play anymore, and it's just like, oh man, those moments for people, that's got to be
That
rough.
sucks.
I don't have an ounce of sympathy for Aaron Rodgers, the Packers, or the business they're in.
It just seems like
At
all
the
the
end of the
stuff you
day, they're
put
going
in.
back to a really nice house.
I mean, yeah, to me, it's just so shocking because all the stuff you like put in, they were 13-4. They have home field advantage. They play in the cold. They know how to play in the cold versus a team from the West Coast. And you blow it again. You blow it again. And that's what I can't
There
like.
was
I don't
across
get
both
it.
games, there were some really weird calls where you just don't understand the decision making. In that Titans game when they on third down run some weird pitch and end up getting stuffed, and then on fourth down get stuffed again. That killed that game. Like
Yeah.
so many times where they should have been dead. The Bengals, if without Joe Burrow, I don't even think they're even competitive at all. Like it's ridiculous. Their offensive line was so bad. They look like the Giants' offensive line the first half of this season,
Oh,
just getting steamrolled.
yeah. It's
Speaking of Giants, let's jump into a little new GM. That's exciting news. They've already
so
got.
it's Shane, right?
It's pronounced Shane, Joe Shane. Doesn't look like it. It looks like Schoen, but it's from
I
all
like
I've heard,
Schoen.
it's yeah. Well, it's his name. He can do whatever he wants. But Joe
So
Shane is the GM. I couldn't be more happy as far as the process went going. It's like the draft too. For once, can we pick the person that everyone says we should pick so that we don't get destroyed and go with some crazy name? Like, I get excited when people hire crazy out of the box thinking names, but this time, could we just go with someone like this guy's been with a winning franchise? He checks all the boxes of being the person they want, but let's face it, none of us know anything about him, so we're trusting other people.
I think one of them should be an offensive lineman, obviously, and then I think
Oh,
the
you're talking
second
about the
one,
draft picks?
yeah, I think the second one should be either linebacker from Georgia, Nakobe Dean, or because he's ridiculous. It's like I would put him as like top two, top three defend. If you couldn't get Thibodeau or Hutchinson, Nakobe Dean would probably be my next best defensive player, position player in all of college football.
I'm going
And
tackle and the center. And if you get to
it's
and
so not fun if they draft two
it's not
offensive
fun, but
linemen.
it's the clearest path to winning.
Like if
It,
they draft Hutchinson or like Thibodeau, that's fun. Like I actually like that. But
I
offensive
know
linemen are so
I know it's
boring.
not fun, but you got to bite the bullet and do it, otherwise you're going to stink.
That's
So
why I want them to do
I do
one
think there
offensive
should
lineman.
I think it should be top three picks are two offensive linemen, one defensive lineman. I don't know how that's going to work, and I honestly think the second first round pick, um, maybe you could potentially trade back and still get the lineman or defensive lineman you want if you miss out on the two big guys. But
I want to tell you this. You're gonna hate this, and most Giants fans are probably not gonna like
probably,
this. There was a mock draft saying the Giants trade up to one to get Kenny Pickett.
I saw that online. It's ridiculous. But if that happens, then we don't have the right GM and are going to be miserable. But
Well, here's the thing though. Like if you want to get a defensive lineman, you're to me, what are they, fourth or fifth? It's fifth, right?
they're fifth and seventh, I think.
Yeah, so they can't get Hutchinson or Thibodeau. So like that's an issue because like I don't see any of
Yeah, but
those guys dropping
we,
to five. So like how are they going to get?
yeah, but you never know. For us to even think that we have a clue right now is a joke. Because look at all the mock drafts that you see on TV. All of my, they're all wrong, and it's no fault to anyone. But you can't read like someone's mind, like Daniel Jones. No one saw him going. Someone's going to make a pick, and you're going to be like, or well, Mike Mayock's not with the Raiders this year, but like, there's always someone where you're like, what the heck did that pick come from?
Mhm.
And so maybe one of those guys do drop into that spot. Or either way, you must get a tackle. And somewhere else in the draft, you must get at least another guard and center. I think you need a center as well. I mean, the guy from Iowa, they said, is the best they've ever seen as a center, and that's why he may deserve being picked so high. That despite that position, it's normally a tackle, so I got picked early. But
Yeah.
Giants, if the whole draft was linemen, offensive and defensive, I'd be fine because they could find the other stuff. They have so much salary cap troubles. I'm curious who gets cut because that may determine where the mid-range picks come. If you cut Sterling Shepard, then you're going to probably need some wide receiver depth. There's a million wide receivers in the college draft. Maybe even
Oh,
take someone like Williams from Alabama, who maybe drops into the second round because of his knee.
Oh, wait, that is a good point. Or Mechie from Bama, who's not going to be as high, and he tore his ACL.
Yeah, so like
That's not.
the
I don't
Giants
know if I
aren't a
like
team
that. But
that's looking to be in the Super Bowl next year, so they could take that kind of draft pick and wait a year and
Clemson
get.
has under the radar wide receiver Justin Ross, who
Didn't he
had
have
a
the neck injury or something?
he had his spinal cord injury and had surgery, and he played a full year besides getting another injury. But he's versatile, and they like if they want a 3 or 4 guy, that's
There's
the way to do it.
there's a lot of wide receivers out there. There's a lot of running back skill positions, but you know what? None of them can do anything unless you could get them the ball. And the first
Yeah,
step of getting the ball is
and
blocking a
that's why
quarterback.
Tony and Galladay didn't do that well this year. They didn't get on the ball.
Well, different. They got to be on the field too. Like, geez, I don't know what Tony
They
was
gotta
hurt
fix
every other day.
the turf too. Like I don't. That has to be playing a part with how
They said they're gonna do that, but I didn't know what. I don't know if I can
Tony and Shepard
Google
were
that.
like out for weeks and like to me was like not really like undisclosed like injuries.
Yeah, but we don't
Like
know what they're. We don't know what's going on. You
oh, it's
know,
terrible.
like
But
you got
meanwhile,
to
we're talking
remember
about
that
that. What do you,
the news we get is always not accurate.
so then, meanwhile, talking about that, what do you think about the Giants' head coaching position? I want a head coach. I don't want a coordinator or whatever. I want someone who like has head coaching experience, like Flores. I would like that. I'd be okay with that. How's your
Flores like fits everything for like the Giants motif: tough defense, gritty players. But what scares me is who is calling the offense, because the Giants defense was not bad last year. And if the Giants offense was even better, the defense would have been even stronger because they wouldn't have been on the field the entire time. Like the Giants
Oh
have,
yeah,
unless they have to get rid of Bradbury for salary cap problems. But with Bradbury
I'm
and
fine with that.
Jackson, I don't want to really give up. He didn't play as good this year, but regardless, you need to have two really good corners back there. So unless they have an instant replacement, I'm not getting rid of them. You just freeze up there.
For a little bit, but I heard what you
Yeah,
said.
yeah. So you know, Patrick Graham's getting interviewed. I like Patrick Graham, but for
Mhm.
me, the defensive guys, they're interviewing the defensive
Keep
coordinator
him
from the
there.
Broncos. They already interviewed Leslie Frazier of the Bills, who has head coaching experience. They interviewed Brian Daboll of the Bills,
Dan
who
Quinn.
apparently Brian Daboll was Joe Judge's first choice for offensive coordinator, but the Bills wouldn't let him interview at the time back then. I wonder how different it would have been if he had the offense. But yeah, Dan Quinn.
Dan
I
Quinn.
have zero interest in Dan Quinn.
Well, you could do Dan Quinn if you if you put Patrick Graham as the head coach, you could put him as a defensive coordinator. But I
Dan
don't want
Quinn's not
Patrick
gonna.
Graham.
Dan Quinn's not gonna leave anywhere unless he's the head coach. Why would he leave Dallas, who will pay him more to be defensive coordinator, and he has a decent squad, and people are like, why would you leave it to go be a defensive coordinator somewhere else? It's a lateral move.
We got to talk about that with Dallas. I mean,
I mean, they're
oh
so predictably stink.
God, what? But like you got like
Mike
to me, it's
McCarthy
like thinking
stinks. That's
as a
Dak Prescott.
GM. Look, I know they have like issues too, but like you gotta think as a GM, like I'd be sitting there, I'm like, what else can I do? Like we had a great start to the year.
Jerry
This
Jones was saying
team,
that.
this team should have been a perfect candidate to win the Super Bowl. That was the expectation, and they blow it
But
again. It's like the
yeah,
Packers. What is
but the,
wrong with these teams? They can't come through in the
you,
playoffs.
well, it's also the Dallas Cowboys, because they're Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. Everyone in always every single season, they get predicted to be better than they really are. You know, the hype is always. What have they proven in the last 20 years that they're any good? They're not.
I mean, even
Since
when they went 13-3, the season the Giants lost to the wild card, they
yeah,
lost to Green Bay in the first round. Like it's been
they have
happening.
shown nothing. Like their defense created a lot of turnovers, but they're not. Forget it. They're not that good. They get overhyped every year. It's kind of what would happen with the Yankees in baseball. No matter what they're looking, people think that they're a
It's World
huge
Series. I
possibility.
mean, it is World Series or bust, but the Yankees always, like you're saying, do get like that.
They're
They
going to get the
it's the
benefit of
name.
the
They
doubt.
get the
Yeah.
name.
And then
Them
the
and the
Cowboys get
Dodgers.
that and haven't proven any reason to deserve it. Green Bay gets it too because of their quarterback.
That's
But
actually pretty funny because you look at it and Brady doesn't get those top picks, and he comes and he wins it. And I have a feeling if the Bucks win today, they're going to the Super Bowl and they might even win it unless they play. It would have
I'm
to be the
really
Bills or the Chiefs.
I'm curious to see what the Bills look like today. Like, are the Bills going to come out like last week and just be nasty and
I'm cheering for
physically
them.
push people around? I'm 100% cheering for the Bills. I'm from New York. But and Mike Sand's a big Bills fan, so that's all.
I love Josh Allen. I love Singletary. I just love what they're like
How could you
building there.
not
It's
root for a
awesome.
city like Buffalo? Like, come on.
They've been screwed so much by
So
this
many
bad management and
Well, it's been
and
screwed by the refs in hockey and the NFL.
the Sabres are a wreck. Yeah,
Go to
they could go for this. And
losing 4 Super Bowls back to back to back to that's torturous. That's torture. So go Bills, but I'm really curious to see if they come out and they are that same powerful team against the Chiefs. I feel like Spagnuolo is overrated as a defensive coordinator. He just blitzes all the time, and sometimes it works. Other times you get absolutely
to me, he
scorched.
just leaves wherever. Like I don't know if people notice this. He just leaves whenever a team's not good enough for him anymore. Like he worked with the Giants and what came back worked with them in 16. Their defense was fantastic. Their defense was fantastic. Was really the reason they were 11-5. I mean, their defense was amazing. They had.
Yeah.
I always like going through it. They had their D line was Olivier.
No, they were a
Vernon.
great team, but he went and got a head coaching job. He didn't leave because they got bad. He went and got a head coaching job. Stunk. I think it was with the Rams.
But then he went to the Chiefs.
No, I think he went somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, let's not waste time on Steve Spagnuolo. As far as the Giants go, my head coaching choice, I would love if you could get Patrick Graham to stay there and he works with another coach. I could see that happening with Brian Flores because they both worked in New England. I don't know how well they're connected. They worked in Miami together, which is weird, and he left Miami. So I don't know if they didn't like each other or either that or Brian Flores was like, oh, you really want to coach in New York? Sure. Because there is rumors that, Patrick Graham, one of his dream jobs was to be defensive coordinator for the Giants. So if you could get Graham to stay here, that's a huge win. But with Flores, it's all about who's your offensive coordinator. If Brian Daboll comes, I'd still keep Patrick Graham there and be happy. No part of Dan Quinn whatsoever. There's really
McDaniels.
Leslie Frazier. I just don't know if he has the
No, I want a head coach. Come on,
Well, he was ridiculous. Leslie Frazier was a head coach. He was just an unsuccessful head coach.
No, I have no clue who he is.
I think you need the right kind of personality for New York, and Flores has got that. You got to be tough. Not that Leslie Frazier's not tough, but like you can't be meek in front of the media.
I wouldn't hate a Flores or a Jim Harbaugh or one of those guys that knows how to win. Technically,
yeah, they said the Raiders' job is Harbaugh's if he wants it. And then there was a couple of rumors kicking around about the Cowboys.
He's not. We know Jim Harbaugh is not as good as his brother. We know that, but Jim Harbaugh.
Well, we don't know that.
No,
his brother
John Harbaugh is a much better coach than
John Harbaugh is really good, but Jim Harbaugh, when he went to the 49ers, turned them around really fast with Alex Smith.
And so he knows how to win. They just didn't win the Super Bowl. So like he knows how to get stuff done. So that's what I like about him.
People said Andy Reid stunk as a coach for 20 years before he could win the playoff games. Sometimes it's about having the right talent and other combinations. Like now he's a Hall of Famer. Like so. I don't know.
I'm not rooting for the Chiefs at all.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the Chiefs. I don't dislike them, but I'd rather the Bills win. Anyway, moving on from football, let's talk about you were in Carolina for the game Friday night.
Not the best Knicks first. You want to get the Knicks crap out of the way?
Yeah, not really, but we can. The Knicks have been so disappointing. Christ. Just I don't know who this team is, and I can't stand that anger and booing. Like, just the booing's doing nothing. Like, Julius Randle is falling apart in front of our eyes. So I want to start
22 and 24. That's
yeah. So I know you don't live around here, but all the radio, all the talk is like they're asking to trade Julius Randle at the deadline and get rid of him. I want to know from you, do you think that's a good deal? The other thing is Cam Reddish is supposed to play their next game. He's supposed to be, from rumors, again, all what I read in the newspaper, they said they've told him he's going to get a lot of playing time in New York. If
Damn
he's
hope.
going to get a lot of playing time, that means someone's got to leave because what the Knicks don't have is a lot of playing time for anyone. They have too many people on similar levels. So who do you think might be shipped out the door? What do you
Well, I
think?
think Grimes should go back and sit on the bench, and I don't see why he should get any time based on okay, yeah, he's young, great, whatever, but we're not winning games, so back on the bench, bud. Like we need actual like results here. So I think Grimes less time. Fournier should get less time unless he's hot in the game because that's clearly
Yeah,
it's
but
either he sucks or he's good. Like so,
I
like
know,
you
but
have
it's
to plan
hard
it
to
on that.
just, but then you put someone in a position where they're going to step on the court if they miss their first shot, which is going to be a high anxiety shot now because if they start missing, you're going to take them out of the game and they're never going to play again.
But this is like to me, it's not even that like the Randall stuff, and that's part of it. But you look at like the game against, so they lost 112 to 110 to the
Bobcat.
Timberwolves the other night.
Uh, uh,
They missed 9 free throws. They suck at the free throw line. RJ Barrett, look, great performance offensively in the last 10 games. You
I
suck
know.
at the free throw line. Like these
That's
guys can't hit free
correctable, though.
throws. All you would have needed is 3 of those 9 to win the game. Like these are costing them the game. Like these are
I know.
errors. Like missing free throws are
They're
errors.
like they're
Like
like penalties in a football game. They're mistakes, but you could correct
it's a
that.
free throw. It's a free
I
throw.
know,
You are in
but
the
it's not a
NBA.
hundred. It's not 100%. Like, and some people just aren't good shooters. Let's face it. You can work on it all you got, but remember Shaq?
Oh, well, that's different though. Like like Mitchell Robinson's almost a better free throw shooter than RJ Barrett. I mean, he looks terrible at the line, but he's getting 1 of 2 every time. And
Well,
RJ Barrett sometimes.
look, not every player's great at everything. He's pretty good at the other stuff. Like to harp on the free throws, yes, it's a part of that game. I don't think it's every game what's killing them though.
But
Like,
then they missed 10 against the Hornets and they lost by 10. Like
yeah,
that's what's so like
yeah,
it's
but you're
like
not
it
going to
is.
make all 10. So it's like, that's, yes, they got to work on it. I'm sure they know and they're doing it, but it's like that's a correctable problem. That's something that okay, that's clearly something you could sit and practice and work with. The Julius Randle not speaking to the press and not speaking to the fans and falling apart and their attitude on the court, the whining and looking for calls. That's what's gonna kill it. Like the Knicks, the fan base got so into it again,
Yeah.
the expectation, and that's a lot of that problem is on the fan base for us to expect. They're a 500 team.
Yeah.
We wanted them to go like push for the thing because we got so excited. So for the fans, you got to be realistic. But Julius Randle also can't crap on fans who helped him just sign a huge max extension. I am not in
Why do
favor
they
of
care
trading.
about
I don't want to trade Julius Randle. I don't think that's the move unless someone's offering you some superstar that I'm completely unaware of.
what why do people care about him not speaking to the media? Like that's so like
You're
it's
in the entertainment industry. People want to know, like, and New York is a place where if you make a mistake and you walk out and own your mistake, they do forgive you. I mean, unless you're just downright terrible. But if you
that's why
sit
Eli
and
was loved.
well, if you sit and whine about it and hide from it, they're going to eat you up and it's going to get worse and you're going to get booed more. And you can't tell the fans to go F themselves when the fans are spending $250 a night for, if you're taking a family, it's going to cost you $1,000 to go to a Knicks game. Do not want to go there and see someone whine and have a little hissy fit for that.
Moan,
You want to see someone
making
play.
millions.
Yeah, we can understand if you're not hitting all your shots. That happens. Can't take lack of effort. And New York, you need to come with effort.
It sounds like some like bush league franchise where the fans are like pissed at the players. They don't go f themselves.
The players told
Oh.
Randall told the fans that. That's
No, I know, but it's like that's
yeah,
like literally like some like
yeah. It's like a Will
that's
Ferrell
like
movie.
Sacramento Kings franchise or like
Oh,
something like that. Like it's
it's hard to believe that they're still in the NBA, the Sacramento Kings.
But yeah, they have a lot.
Let's move on to something brighter.
And they could start with winning a game today. That's where you could start. Start with
Yeah,
winning.
winning
That could
will
change.
solve all.
That could change. That could change players' mindsets because along with the struggling, because it's clear, like with personal player struggles on the court, they're also not winning games. So that's like playing into it. So if they, I feel like you should start winning games, that could turn some of the issues around
Anyway,
somewhat.
we got disjointed there. I want my head coach. If I could pick, I'll take Brian Dable with Patrick Graham as my number option. Flores and Patrick Graham staying together, my number 2 option. Even if I don't know who the offensive coordinator is, who are your options for? Who would you like to see as the head coach? Which I imagine will be named sometime in the next week, unless they're on one of these teams that keep going.
Flores.
You're going for Flores. All right. Now let's jump into hockey because this is about as crazy of a weekend for hockey for you.
Amazing.
I mean, you get to go to the game Friday night, which we'll get your feedbacks on in Carolina. Not the result we wanted. But on top of that, last night, I don't know if you were able to watch it, but your boy Kreider gets another hat trick. He's already got more goals than he's ever had in a season. Things are
42 games in. So 41 is
40
halfway
games
through the
left.
season. Yeah. And I was a
I
little
mean,
nervous. They were down 3-1. They had 4 shots in the first period of the Coyotes yesterday. They were down 3-1 midway through the second period, and you're like, crap, like this is you serious? Like whereas no, you cannot lose. You cannot lose. And then they just start dropping. And the fans were behind them, and that was a big thing. I don't know. They're for real. It's something about it, and it's like even when guys like Shesterkin don't have their best nights, like clearly the 3 goals against the Coyotes is wouldn't be his best night.
No,
And
not
they
at all.
still just are. They play for him. They play for each other. And look, they throw those duds out every once in a while in Carolina, but this team has a resilience in every game.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if I said that right. Resiliency, but like even in Carolina, down 5-1, you could throw that game away, and they score 2 quick goals, and now it's like they're playing for something. Like
yeah.
so, like we've seen it all year. You saw it in Ottawa, down 2-0, 5 minutes left. They score 3 goals, and like out of nowhere, and they win the game that they wouldn't have won last year. So like
I know. Well, let's go back to Carolina Friday night. What are your thoughts? Now they're the top 2 teams right now at Washington.
Carolina lost 7-4 to the Devils yesterday, which
that's why they play the games
so
you don't
stupid.
know.
And then so now the Rangers are back in first place by 2 points. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was.
Did you get up close and see any of the players?
I did. So we went for warm-ups, sat about like 30 minutes waiting. We went there really early. Unfortunately, the center, you have to get on the boards at center ice, and we would have been there, but they're club seats only, and we forgot about that. They're like it's like a club, like you.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Anyone can buy tickets, but it's a clubbed air. Like those ticket sections, when you buy them, you get like the concourse.
Yeah.
And it's blocked off to only like the center ice section.
So you can't. Yeah.
So I had to sit where they came out, which was pretty freaking awesome. I mean, watching them come out for warm-ups, you sitting 4 feet away from these guys, you watch them. It kind of made me want to tear up a little. Well, not like that in a happy way. It was incredible. You're like, yeah, like I feel like I know these guys like a little bit.
Well, you invest a lot of time in their lives, whether they know you.
No, yeah, and they don't know. That's the thing. Like, and it was amazing. Like, they had a couple of kids, like little kids, in front of me, and they were like, I mean, I was asking for a stick, and they were like trying to get high fives, so I didn't get in the way of that. But I saw like Kako turn up and look at them, and I'm like dinner makes you really think how young he is. Like, he looks like.
I tell you that all the time. These guys are younger than your brother out there.
But Panarin was the last one off, and he did his little thing where he like skates as fast as he can, then like stops really fast, and then just flies into the locker room. And it was fun seeing everyone. Like I remember like because it had like the little thing like that players walk through so they don't get like. harassed or
assaulted by
thrown stuff by the
fans.
fan. I mean, like it probably only would happen during the playoffs, but still they do it for like safety measures. I mean, there was a lot of Rangers fans in that area, so it's not like
Yeah.
that was going to happen. It was, I would like to say it was not 50-50 in the end. There was more Canes
Yeah.
fans once the game happened because they're having like people are
Is it
saying they're
is it
having a much
sold
better
out
year than the past. No, the
or
games aren't
was it
sold out.
crowded? Okay.
Loud, very
Yeah.
loud, and I mean the Canes are much better than when the Rangers have played in the past. So like I expected that there'd be more Canes. Like they're really building a fan base in North Carolina, and whether you want to include South Carolina, but they are really like exploding. Like I would say they're almost at the level of the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are kind of embarrass themselves every year, and the Canes are like
Football's
going
always
off.
gonna
And
football's always gonna lead the way.
oh yeah, when they went to the Super Bowl, it was big, but
Yeah.
it was amazing. Like you could see right through. You saw when Truba came out, and like you see
You realize how
Igor.
big these guys are.
Oh, they're amazing. And I heard Ryan Reeves. You hear him screaming from the like in the locker room, just shouting stuff, and then you see like it's just amazing. And I have to tell you, so across from here there was like a little stairwell, and right there was Benoit Allaire. He was there,
Nice. Should have got
and
his
then
autograph.
he didn't look over at me, but then the Rangers, one of their lower assistant coaches, his name's Mark Ciaccio. Mark
Yeah.
Ciaccio. He looked over and waved at me, and that was cool because I knew the guy from a couple years ago when they did like the coaches intros, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's an Italian name, so I kept it in mind. And he waved at me. I think he took a picture of like either me or some of the fans because there were so many Rangers fans there. But
Yeah.
he was awesome. It was funny, like just like seeing them up close and then seeing Benoit Allaire, but he was kind of like mute, like wasn't really.
Yeah, he's pretty stoic, it seems.
Yeah, he was like not really in it, and then, but it was crazy because among the crowd, everyone was like Georgiev starting like that. You could hear, like
I
you
know,
heard
but
so
you
many
got
people say
you
it.
got to think of the business decision that I think that they're making is they're getting close to that All-Star break, and they want Georgiev to actually get some value if they have to trade him. And he's had a couple really good starts, and I think you were saying this when I spoke to you on the phone, and I don't disagree with this rumor. Like, if he had to sit one of these two games against Arizona or Raleigh, you could try to lock up a sure win if you put him against that, and you try to steal a win on the road. I hate that strategy personally.
I
I
like
play
it
your
either
best
because I
against
think
the best, but
but if you can't, to me, what my issue with that is if you don't think your backup goalie, who they rave about all the time, can beat the worst team in the NHL at home, like I think Georgiev would have won that game yesterday.
I know.
Like that
I'm
would have
guessing. I'm
happened.
guessing. It
So
also could
like,
have been Shesterkin could have like got drunk the night before and was
yeah,
hungover,
that's
and they
awesome.
did. That's not would not be awesome.
No, it's just like thinking of it because he was. It was fun
Yeah, but
watching. So they had
we
like it
always have to
during.
remember that those things happen. They are human beings. Like, could have a case of the Rhea and like can't leave the locker room or something. Like,
It was awesome. Yeah, I have to tell everyone listening to this story and you this story. It was just like, so they did
I
this thing.
hope
They
it
were in the
doesn't have to do with diarrhea.
circles and like the goalies were taking shots. And then you don't see Georgiev do it. And this is what pissed me off. You don't see Georgiev do it. You see Shesterkin go in net with about anywhere from 7 to 10 Rangers, like all their players around the net. Shesterkin's the only one playing defense. They're all passing around for like any opportunity to try to score. It took them a couple minutes to score. They had one. They finally got one by him, and it was like amazing. I mean, it was like Panarin, Nemeth, like all these guys were there, and they're just surrounding the net. Like they are literally making a U in front of him. He can't see out of them, and he's not giving up anything. He wasn't giving up Jack, you know what, and
Yeah,
it was amazing. But I did see Panarin's ounce of energy. He was just playing around with the puck on the side, and Shesterkin decided to play like goalie on him. He sniped it like right under his glove and just looked over at him, like smirked at him. And
I wish he
it's like,
shot that more, Panarin.
oh, and it's his shot is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's a huge superstar who doesn't seem in New York. Maybe it's because he doesn't speak in English a lot, like out in front of people. Like if he was a outgoing personality at press conferences and saying stuff, he would be a huge star. I mean, he scores a point every night. He's unbelievable. And when the
And
puck's on
it's
his stick, it seems like it's glued, and he could like there's the
oh,
team
it's
always seems nervous when he has it. Like people do not know what to do. They have no idea where he's going with the
well,
puck.
like Kreider and Zibanejad have the chemistry and they have the speed, and that's cool. But Panarin and Fox have that. Like they could be like
Yeah,
have
you don't
three
know.
defend. And like I tell you, it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. It wasn't even a goal. Adam Fox just like right here, just turns it right around, right on the stick. An amazing pass. You have no clue. Like no, you're like, how does he know someone's there? He's not even looking at them. Like it
Yeah,
was
he's always looking.
like one of the Canes players in a fight. He literally laid the fattest hit on someone and that like just pushed him over. It was amazing. Look, they lost and all, but there weren't like the Canes fan. They were like drunk Canes fans and they were being annoying. But the Canes fans aren't that
Oh,
bad. They're kind of they can be annoying, but they're not like terrible. Like there was a guy in a Bergeron jersey barking crap at Canes and Rangers fans when a mistake happened, yelling at
yeah.
Rangers fans. Well, this is why Marchand, and he's vaping, he's drunk, and he's like, well, this is why Marchand's really he's the most hard on anyone in the NHL. That's BS. Shut up. Like,
Well, he's just ignoring those
oh, and
people.
they're
They have
just like
nothing else.
going
He's got
after
nothing else
people.
going on in his life. He's just screaming at people. You're supposed to go there. I totally. You're allowed to boo. You're allowed to cheer. You're allowed to talk trash, but be respectful because there are kids around. Like so, anything you say should be,
And you should
And I've made
they're
those
looking to start
mistakes.
a fight. They're looking to
Yeah,
start a fight. That those people want
you
they want.
just ignored those people. Anyway, wrapping that up, we got the 2 games tonight. Did we make
Yeah,
the picks already? I don't recall you saying who you.
I think we did.
I know who you let.
I had a little more in the Rangers because I was going to
All
end
right.
talking about Carolina, but just as some like you look at some of the and I know personal trophies and stuff doesn't mean anything, but so where they sit in the league with like different stats, Shesterkin is second in the NHL in goals against average. He's 2.08,
What's
which
the
is
save percentage?
and that's number one in the league,
Yeah.
0.936. And then you have Kreider's tied for first in goals with Ovechkin
Which
at
is
29.
never in a million years. I would have picked him on if you would have went
Oh,
down the Rangers in the beginning of the year and said who's going to be leading in goals at the halfway mark. It would have been Panarin, Zibanejad. I would have went through a bunch of other players before Kreider,
I might even gone with
like a
oh my god,
Lafreniere, like a guess, like
yeah,
somebody
like you
broke,
wouldn't even
someone who
think
broke out because
Kreider.
Kreider's has been consistently like a 25 goal guy.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, the Rangers, they're kind of changing the narrative a little bit. Like it's
Well, this
weird.
is
Like
why you rebuild. You want to get talent in, and it's the same thing. Like the goalie is your quarterback in the in the NHL. You have to have a great quarterback. You have to have a great goalie, and then you build talent around it.
yeah,
We'll
and
see.
it's just it's amazing. Like I've never had a team watching like because baseball you can't really have them play for each other. Like kind of like have that great chemistry together. Maybe you have like a pitcher and a catcher, like a
You could have
outfielders.
bonds, but it's not the same way as in a sport where it's
No, and
so fluid.
I actually think if I'm being giving full honesty, I think I don't know if the Rangers can win the Stanley Cup this year. I'd like to believe they can with how they're playing,
Can they?
but
Yes.
they are like they can do damage in the playoffs. Like I actually believe that if they keep this up, they could. I mean, you're talking
Let's
about right
not.
now. If they keep this up, they can finish.
We're at the halfway point.
I mean, but I'm
Let's
saying
not
though,
talk
if
Stanley
they,
Cup till we get closer to getting. Once you're in the playoffs, then you can start talking about that because I've seen
yeah,
things fall apart pretty quick. A bad injury, something like that. So let's just be optimistic. Let's keep the
but
ball
at least I'll
rolling.
say they are like the way they play together is unlike any of
That's
the
what you
teams
need.
I've
Yeah.
watched. And like even when the best season the Giants have had and I've been watching, they still weren't like that. Like they weren't Like to me, the Rangers are playing like a powerhouse. That's an opinion,
They
but
are.
I
They're
think
one of the top point scoring teams in the entire NHL. It's weird because you haven't been a part of it, but it's true and it looks good, and I think people are believing in them. Well,
well,
that
I
Matty,
originally thought I was like coming into the year, I was like, well, this could be. We expected playoffs. And I'm not
yeah.
guaranteeing, like you're saying, guaranteeing anything, but like we expected, like that's what
I was
which we
hoping
should be at.
my expectations into the season were winning one round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and like we expected them to be in a fight for 6, 7, 8, maybe a 5 spot. They're third right now, and I know a lot of things can change,
Yeah.
but you expect out of those top 4, top 5, one team to kind of still make the playoffs, but kind of fall out of that streak.
Yeah,
And
someone's gonna get that injury. Someone's gonna have a collapse of
well,
some
right
sort.
now, to me, it's either Florida, Tampa, the Rangers, or the Canes, who are one of those teams I think is going to
All
lose a
these
little
southern
mojo.
teams, ridiculous.
I
Florida.
think it's going to be Florida because I don't think they can keep up with this. I think it's either Florida or the Rangers, but the Rangers, no matter whoever it happens to, they'll still be in the playoffs, like with how they're playing. But I expect
Yeah,
one of
we'll
those
see.
4 teams to fall.
That's why we watch for the entertainment of it. But let's wrap it up there, Maddie. Give me your football picks for tonight.
Rams, Bills.
Rams, Bills.
That's also who I want to win too.
I'm
So
biased too. I'm going Rams, Bills to win as well. Both very biased. Wow, I'm looking at Sean McVay. What is he wearing? A little man suit to the thing? It's
I
a
don't really
weird
like
vest
him, but
from.
I like the Rams. He's
I
a
got no problems with him.
quirky.
It's a weird looking suit. Anyway, with that, good luck, Maddie. I'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
I love you. Bye.